Hey guys, it's James from Life Transitions and Leanne. Yeah, this is her favorite part of having her own business is doing live videos. One of her favorite things, well, and then working with her husband all the time too. But do you like being live, unscripted?
No.
Okay, that's good. We've been talking a lot about our job is serving people. We've made that our job. The mission of Life Transitions is to serve you well, but our job is to work for you. And if we've been talking, we're not going to give ages here because you don't do that with ladies. But we started to realize we've been working since we were teenagers. We've been working at all kinds of jobs, and we thought it would be fun to sort of, and we know you watching, you've been working at jobs since you were young also, all kinds of jobs. And the people that we serve work different kinds of jobs. So we thought it would be fun to sort of like pull apart a little bit of that, of our work story. And you can think about your own. We'd love you to chime in. And as I said in the thing, tell us about your worst or your first, something like that. So, my beautiful bride, what was your first job?
My very first job, I was only 11, so not even a teenager.
Is that legal?
Yeah, it was a paper route.
Okay.
So it's, yeah.
Oh, you were a paper boy.
I was a paper girl.
Oh, paper girl. That's right. Okay, so that was good for you. So you did the collecting.
Yes.
Oh, here comes a paper girl. Okay. Yeah, my first job was would you call that your real job? First real job?
Well, I got paid for it.
Okay. So I guess to go back and forth, I used to cut the grass for the Teamsters office in London with this really tough, mean guy, and it was just grass cutting, but it was cash. It had to be done well. So, what about your first like real job? Social insurance number, bam. What was your first one?
Global Donuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Global Donuts. I hope they're watching. I know Timmy Boyle loves Global Donuts, but Global. So that was you showing up, doing shifts, Global Donuts uniform.
Oh, brown polyester.
Yes.
That was lovely.
Yes. My first real paycheck job, social insurance number. I worked at Valdi. You guys remember Valdi? It was a grocery store that you put the boxes right on the shelves. It was kind of like a low budget. Remember Valdi? Did you have them in Sarnia? I worked at, we'd start at 5 in the morning, unload the trucks, stock the shelves, get lost kind of thing. But that was it. So you went from Global Donuts, and where did you start going from there?
Oh, there's a whole myriad of jobs. I never had just one job.
You had more than one at the same time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Tough girl.
It's a long list.
Okay. Take us on a little journey here. We got a few minutes here,
I
right?
worked for Hogan Pharmacy in Sarnia. I delivered prescriptions.
Whoa.
For Mr. Walker.
Okay.
I worked at De Gala in the Eaton Centre, jeans store.
In the Eaton Centre?
Yeah.
In Toronto?
No, in Sarnia. We had an Eaton Centre.
Wow,
Do you
history.
remember?
History
we
lesson.
We had an Eaton Centre, yes.
And you called it the Eaton Centre?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of a copycat. But,
I worked at Super U. It was a tanning and toning place.
Nice.
I did window cleaning with my good friend Mark Lumley.
Oh yeah, Mark's probably watching. Of course he would be.
I painted with Gary Cooper. These are all Sarnia people. This was my Sarnia.
This is like hard work and Sarnia stuff.
Yep.
Love it.
I worked at the post office for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
with
pretty serious.
My dad was a letter carrier. I worked at the post office for quite a few years, saved money for university. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let me jump in here because you went to Global Donuts and then you went all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I did after my Valdi job. I did a whole bunch of dishwashing jobs, and in the '80s, it seemed like you could get a dishwashing job in London like that. You could either quit or be fired in 5 minutes and have another job. So I did dishwashing at all kinds of restaurants, and I did. We called it landscaping, but it was cutting grass. I did lots of cutting grass, landscaping. And then I did some painting jobs, and at one point I even kind of oversold my skills in the kitchen because I'd been a dishwasher. Oversold that so well, I got hired as a cook at Eastside Mario's in in London, right on Richmond Row. Worked one shift and was fired the next day because there was a small fire, and that's a real thing. But yeah, you don't oversell your skills because it doesn't work out well. No. Okay, so those were kind of my up and down jobs. How about is there a worst? What's your worst job?
My worst.
We don't want to offend anyone. If you're watching, past employer, what's your worst? Do you have a worst job?
No, they were all really good jobs. They were really good jobs. No, they were. Okay. And everything, I went from post office. I waitressed at Hiawatha Racetrack.
Oh.
Went to university, had little jobs in there.
You don't have a worse job.
Being a Dawn at the residence that I lived in.
Was that a paid job?
It was. I got free room and board.
Okay, that's paid.
So yeah, that was probably my hardest job. Mentally, emotionally, it was an all-girls house.
Did you hear what she just said? I didn't know until I met Leanne years ago. I didn't know what a Don was. I thought Don was like, that's like a mafia thing, like the Don. But you're the Don. I mean, you're the boss of a.
I was in charge of a girls' floor.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been in charge of things for a long time, not
Been
just
a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Okay. Wow. So that was it. Maybe
it was difficult. It was 30 girls. It was hard.
Yeah. Eesh,
Yeah.
that'd be hard.
It was hard.
I have a worst, and I know you know this. I didn't do it for very long. I was a chicken catcher, which I found that as it was in the student employment office in London. Chicken catcher. I thought, how hard can that be? Chickens, I'm bigger than a chicken. But what it was, you go into a commercial chicken barn and you're paid $50 1,000, and you'd have to pick up 7 chickens at a time and work all through the night. It was horrific, terrible job. It did not last long, did not make much money. And you kind of, you worked with basically the cast from The Hills Have Eyes. They were strange.
Poor chickens.
Yeah, they were probably delicious eventually, but yeah, it's ugly behind it. Yeah, but yeah, chicken catching. Yeah, you know what? So you've been in service. You've been in service industry. Myself too. Everything from dishwashing to cutting grass, and from Global Donuts to the Dawn.
Service management.
Service management. Yeah, you're Canadian. What's it called? Was the roller coasters?
Canada's Wonderland.
Canada's Wonderland.
Yes.
Like you had great jobs.
I did. I had some really good jobs.
Yeah.
I really did.
Like you were the boss of Canada's Wonderland. No, you were. You had some.
I was a supervisor of an area.
And you met the Scorpions.
I didn't meet them.
Well, they were there.
They were there.
They were there.
They were on the floor below me.
Okay, well there you go. So yeah, you had some, but a lot of public dealing with the public. You know, and I, when we met many years ago, like it was so long ago. You know, you were working as a full-time, moderately self-employed, but working as an esthetician.
Yeah.
Right.
Working and teaching. I was teaching it as well. So that was my second job.
Yeah. So you're like one-on-one people person.
Yeah.
The closest I ever came to that was. Well, actually, really never a one-on-one until I became a funeral director, dealing one-on-one with families. But the bulk of my work has been service industry stuff. People are buying a service, and I was just kind of the hands and feet of it, whether it was cleaning ducts or installing sprinklers or whatever. Long list of things. But this whole thing has come about because we have our own company now, where we are service industry specialists, I guess, because we're a funeral company. People have a need and a difficult chapter, and they come to us, and we sometimes unravel some problems. For the most part, we're taking cues off of our families. As people that are one-on-one with a family, we're specialty service industry people. Yeah, for sure. But and the skills, I guess we didn't know we were developing all these years, from Global Donuts to Canada's Wonderland, the skills we have been able to absorb, I guess, have made us who we are today as far as being able to serve people. You know?
And I did more talking in my early jobs, so you do the talking now.
Yeah, that's right.
You do a lot more talking.
Yeah, she says I talk a lot, but yeah. When the camera's off, she's talking. She talks a lot. No. But, you know, I've heard a lot of people say they love how we market ourselves as a small family business. We are. You're looking at the 2 employees. You're looking at the entire company right now. And I'm always really happy to tell people that once they've met myself, they met Leanne, I said, you just met the whole company. We intentionally are a small company because what we do is a very up close and personal thing with families. But a lot of people say, I love that you guys are your husband and wife team. We're working together. And all of you married folks, you know that marriage is certainly not for wimps, especially when you're raising kids. you got grass to cut, dishes in the sink, whatever. Life, the work-life balance, we all manage those tensions. But as we're doing this now in this new chapter, Leanne still can't believe that we own a funeral company. This is not, wasn't on your radar.
No.
When you're at Global Donuts. Someday I will have a funeral company.
Wasn't on my radar 2 years ago, honey.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll tell you, not to get super mushy, but building our company with you is the greatest. And I'm saying that because we're wired so differently. I talk sometimes too much, and Leanne is incredible with details. And I can sometimes run too quick, and Leanne is quick to say, whoa, 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 take a breath. And then when I realize, oh, I've run into the wrong field. I'm in up to my waist in smelly stuff. But I guess this whole point of this video is to highlight that we're just regular people running a very specialized service to the public. But because of our there's no wasted experiences, I guess. If you're in the middle of working a job right now that you can't believe you're doing, or you don't like that job, there's a really good chance that the skills, hopefully that you're absorbing, they're going to come into play down the road. And I feel like I didn't really mean to be training myself all these years, and maybe you work jobs, you're not sure where you're going to end up. And this point in our story, it seems like it's all come together. I still cut grass.
You do?
Yeah.
And you do the dishes.
Yes, I know. What does she do? I don't. Yeah. And I cut. Yeah, what you were going to say something?
No, I think something that we didn't talk about yet, but definitely feeds into, because we're still doing volunteer work, is the volunteer work that we've done.
Yeah.
And it feeds into how we care for people, why we care for people, because we've both done very personal volunteer work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, and I think that feeds into our mindset about how we do what we're doing and why we do what we're doing. Right.
Oh, and it's funny, you say that nowadays, and people say, well, volunteer work, you mean you weren't paid for it?
Yeah.
But it's incredible. Volunteer work that you're not paid for, the value is off of the chart, because you grow as a person, builds character, and you also get skills too. But yeah, good point. See what I mean? Like, she's a smart lady. This is great. We would love to hear about your first job or your worst job, or I don't know, any kind of insights. We're so appreciative to all the likes and the shares that you guys seem to give. We love the community that's been growing, that we've been trying to nurture along here. And again, this is Leanne's favorite part of being in business, is doing live Facebooks. So any parting words, any parting wisdom to the 8 billion people watching right now?
8 billion. Yeah. No. Go do volunteer work. That it was a surprise that came out in this conversation, but yeah, I would encourage you to do that. It's more rewarding for you, even though it doesn't sound like it would be. It really, really is. There's so much out there that needs to be done. I love that the high schools have kids do 40 hours of volunteer work.
Yeah.
Really, they could easily be doing 40 hours a year instead of over the course of their 4 years. But
yeah, no doubt.
Go out and help someone. That would be my parting words.
Brilliant. High fives. Yes. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.